and gentlemen, it's Sunday, 1 o'clock. You know what time that is. You know what I'm saying? And I'm Victor Brooks from the Victor Brooks Show Facebook Live Quarantine Series. And like I just mentioned, we're here every Saturday and Sunday to bring our message of positivity to you the best way we can. You know, we're not CNN, we're not TBN, we're not, any of the big boys, but we believe that our message of positivity is just as strong. Our message of positivity is one that we all can benefit from. And, it's no secret what the world's going through right now. At first, we're dealing with the coronavirus in its way just a few months ago. That just flipped our lives upside down in a whole lot of ways, ourselves as parents or as adults, and then it, did with our children even, and having to deal with life in a different way. And then the second virus raised its head again, like it's always been, but racism is our second virus here. And so dealing with two viruses can take a lot out of you if your soul and your spirit isn't in connect, you dig? And we're all human, I can't judge anyone. And I say that all the time. Judging is not for me, And, but what it is that we're very, very serious about the power of positivity, because bringing this to you every weekend, we're hoping that the battle against negativity in our small way, can make a difference in each other's lives. And as you all know, that what I like to do every time is give it up to our first responders, speaking of coronavirus, that's been there with us through the whole ordeal, and still with us, We're talking about our doctors and our EMTs and our nurses, our healthcare professionals that have been with us and still with us. We want to give it up to our fire department, our custodial workers who are still there, our sanitation engineers that are still picking up for us, still trying to make life as comfortable and normal as we can still manage every single day. I want to give it up to our postal workers, I want to give it up to our truck drivers. I want to give it up to our teachers, who, I know the school year is coming to an end, but in the time of the school year that it just kind of flipped around on everybody, the teachers were, now they had to teach online. They had to have a new way of looking at their classes, and the students. I want to give it up to the babies. They had to look at life and learning, and still try to keep a sense of positivity in their own right as our babies, every day logging on to find a new way to learn. This is important. And this is why we're here, everybody, And we're going to keep the banner strong for Positivity Posse. I see my people lining up all over the world right now. Thank you. I see Germany logging in. I see Brazil logging in. Thank you all so much. E minha família brasileira, muito obrigado por seu tempo por hoje aqui. Muito obrigado. Thank you for being here, Brazil. And Brazil, hold strong. We're going to be all right, y'all. We all in this together. Every time I have the blessing, and I'm going to consider it in my humble way, that it's a blessing when you ask people to come by and spend their time out of their day, especially during this time, to talk with us. And I hate saying interviews, I like the word conversation, because here at the Positivity Posse, we like communication. You dig? It's like us being able to talk about whatever's on your heart. We like to keep that gate open, We want you to be able to come here, even as the Positivity Posse, when you tune in. And we also want that for our guests, We want our guests to be able to know that, hey, listen, I can come and maybe share something of my journey that can add to this positivity, that can add to this day when you log in as our posse, Their stories, their ups and their downs. You remember Clifton Davis, who came on, who, oh my goodness, was so, I'm going to say so honest with his message of his journey, and how it all, everything from the 60s through the 70s through the 80s of his life, through his moments of suicide contemplation, his moments of drug abuse and substance abuse, And now he has turned all of that into his message of spiritual development of his way of giving positivity to the world. When I grew up, and still today in my religious journey, I called it testifying. You dig? I called it being able to spread that message to somebody else. And in a way, that's all we're doing every Saturday and Sunday when we bring it to you. And today is definitely no difference in that whole story of positivity, because when I bring this beautiful soul and beautiful sister on camera that all of us have fallen in love with her artistry and her message over the years, you're going to remember why, and you're going to see why. I'm saying that Sister Jeanette's positivity through her artistry and her dedication to her life's journey and development and helping others along their way through her journey, it's a blessing in so many ways. And I'm talking about the one and only Jeanette Hawes, okay? Jeanette Hawes is, of course, one of the original Emotions. We remember, of course, and still today, and have that respect of the Emotions sound that's only theirs, never duplicated, but yes, emulated as well, This is very much duplicated, but an original style that has lasted the test of time. When you hear an Emotions song and you hear an Emotions lick, I remember sometimes they say, was that the horn section or was that the Emotions? No, that was the Emotions. That was the vocal, you dig? And it came from their father, Joseph, in many ways, who helped to curtail, and you'll hear about this journey. The Emotions, Grammy and American Music Award winning singers, songwriters, performer, right? Actor is what we're talking about with Sister Jeanette. Also, Sister Jeanette is as I mentioned, one of the groundbreaking Emotions. Jeanette also, singing as a little girl with her sisters, and I believe it was the Sunbeams back in the day, and I can't wait for you to hear that story as well. The Emotions, internationally recognized as one of the most celebrated and respected singing groups in music history. Now, why is that so deep to me? Number one, I'm a musician and I'm an artist. And also it's much respect to me, because when we talk about the history of music, we're talking about the international language of music, which these sisters set forth their language at a young age, and it's lasting still today. That's a blessing. Sister Jeanette is also the proud mother of three, winner of the 1995 NAACP Living Legends Award, 2001 Rhythm and Blues Pioneer Award. Come on, sis. Generational classics such as Show Me How, Boogie Wonderland, Blessed, Don't Ask My Neighbor. Sister Jeanette's won a Grammy in 1978 for Best of My Love, Best Song of the Year category. Oh yeah, I'm reading my card because I'm all about respect. I don't want to miss nothing. In 1995, LA Times article, Sister Jeanette said, she had a beautiful quote, "For us to have a place in history that is a favor of God." With that note, ladies and gentlemen, I want to bring on for her personal story, her personal journey. We've heard the accolades as the Emotions. We've heard the accolades with the Sunbeams. But Sister Jeanette's personal and individual journey and her story is sure to bless, to educate, to heal. And I don't want to waste another minute. Please welcome the one and only Jeanette Hawes, my sister. I love her. Oh, there she is, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my goodness. What an honor. What a privilege. To God be the glory. I just know that this is a very special time that we all are sharing. And I'm so grateful to my niece for inviting me. I'm thankful that you and she have this platform where you can invite people to talk about how this thing is affecting our family, our close knit.
That's right.
And so to this, what an honor. I said, sure, if I had to figure out, could I really put it together and everything, and it happened just like I hoped it would. I was so glad to see yesterday the Bill interview. I mean, you know, I knew that you are a singer. I've known your wife. We've prayed more often together than you and I. So I just have cherished that, you know, but I thank God for this, you know. So what more? Let's see. How can I start with what do you
Well,
want to
you know what this, well, first of all, I'm just going to repeat it again. Thank you for just taking the time. You know what I mean? Just taking the time to come and share your personal story. And like you said, we've known each other for a while, and this the moments that you've shared with me and my brother and my sister in our young artistic lives. I go back to the baked potato days, you know, when Wayne and everybody, and you all have been you and Jeanette, you've been so instrumental in your education and your support, you know, not just about music, but about life itself. Let's go all the way back to 1970. Well, no, let's go before that, Chicago. Let's go growing up, singing in the Sunbeams. Tell us the Sunbeam experience.
I think that's why I had been over the years. I draw, I write.
Yeah.
You know, in our family, we're greens and cornbread people. Mama in Mississippi, dad Clarksville, Tennessee. They met in Chicago. So our story started with two people who are very much about the roots of family. My father's mother, in fact, had started him and his brothers and sisters singing in the church. So I think that when I heard Dad's story, I began to draw pictures and see scenes in my thinking as a little girl, you know. And so traveling a lot, I was doodling, I was making notes, I was making, once we got to the recording part of things, I was doing entertained myself. I would leave from the stage, we finished the stage, come on, we're gonna go do so and so afterwards. I'm like, no, I'm gonna go, I got something, I'm working on something. I'll go to my room and I'll be working on little things that the pictures were so vivid in my head about. And I believe this is Jeanette's analogy of that after so many hours of meetings with psychiatrists and psychologists once I got to that point. Because Black people don't do that as a rule.
Come on now.
I would read a lot. I would do my notes. I would talk about the stuff I couldn't say to Daddy on my letters to him. Burn them later on. He never saw none of that. But it was me getting out so that it didn't clog up my heart. I didn't know it then, but I know it now.
There you go.
The relevance of my story now to talk about how I got through that, because I don't have any regrets. That's why I called my first CD that. I have regrets about the path that God took me, because he kept me. I was 7 years old. That's the first picture that I drew in my little mind, and I saw it because I remember the day when I looked up to the sky for myself from my bedroom window, and I said, God, my daddy said you can hear us when any of us is talking. I'm like, thank you for this. We had just moved into a new basement apartment in a huge complex. It was great. It was 3 bedrooms. Anyway, the point is I began to talk to God at 7, and that's real. And I said, you know, so I drew that picture the best I could in Meet the Hutchinson Sunbeams. And I had that little story sketched out a long time before I learned how to do PowerPoints of it.
Exactly.
How to do PowerPoints and all that kind of stuff so that I could have it scrolling along. And then eventually I met Amazon.
and then things just, you know, say, oh, wait a minute, I can do this and then multiply that. You know what I mean? Now,
it was just, so I jumped too fast to now, but.
No, go speak from the heart.
I sketched out some things in my version, my perception of what was going on with me. I couldn't always talk to everybody. That's one of the things, I mean, as a grandmother now, I want to hurry up and get to the 21st century part of my story, because I love being a granny nanny. Okay. I just did that for this hunkering down thing. My little grandson, my daughter's son, invited me to come. And I had been there for like 2 months. You know, I was, other than that, just going with it. I'm my own schedule. But I'm telling you what, God is so awesome. He knows what, when we need it, and when we trust him, Vic. I know I ain't telling you that, you don't know it. But I'm saying, like, even the opportunity, I was always praying before him. I want whatever I have to say to be relevant. I ain't trying to live in the past. I'm grateful for what me have had. I'm grateful that people still cherish it. I'm grateful that he designed our sound. We're not unique. I mean, I'm sure there are other family girls that I could name that people love still. And I do too, you know? So I'm just saying, that's okay. If you start me to talking, boy, you're gonna have to tell me.
No, you know what? You know what? Let me tell you this, sis. Already, and I know there's a delay, but I hope you can hear me when I say this. When I do these interviews, right, I have a topical thing. You dig? I don't know where the conversation is going to go, and I'm giving up to the public. I'm just keeping it real. I don't know. But what I do know at this moment in time is that whatever it is that is on Jeanette's heart, I want to hear it. And I know that my Positivity Posse wants to hear it, because not only if we hear it, we're going to feel it. So what I'd like to do, sis, please expound on what being your 21st century self is all about. And we are definitely going to talk about a lot of, but I want to hear this, what's on your heart.
Because, right now, I think that it's important for me as a grandmother, as an accomplished professional woman, all the skills that I have, to lay them at the feet of God in prayer. Lord, what you want me to do, where you need me to be. I know how to do fundraising now, thanks to my 15 years at the Music Center, when I was part of the team that did scholarships for high school kids in the arts and all that. I know how to talk to the high school students. I learned through my years of trying to put my organization, not a foundation. I had to learn that. There's a difference between the organization.
Right.
Was because I wanted to give to the kids. I wanted to pour into their lives, whatever out of me they could gain. I wanted that connection. So the whole business with foster youth and all that, I had hoped that would be something my sisters and I would build together. Who knows? God knows what the future is. It's the will of God. People have to do their own choices. Just because we're family don't mean we all care about and want to do the same things. And I'm grateful that we have cherished maintaining our family relationship more.
Come on now.
To me, that's what I got to talk about today. That's why I feel clear in my spirit to talk about whatever, because I did nothing against them. I would love us to be singing together. I wanted us to, as soon as the thing was over with, when people started doing the rap stuff and the videos and all that, and we went into that right then. We was into family and other stuff. So I wanted us to go on to just keep writing and singing and talk about Jesus, keep, felt like that. But that wasn't what everybody wanted. Some people just, nope, I got a husband in the studio and I'm going to keep on doing X, Y, Z. I'm like, go for it then in the name of Jesus.
Right.
The thing is, I want this opportunity today to just be as clear as I can. I love my family. I love my sisters. I'm glad that each of us are still alive today, and that if we want to, we can come together. We can get on this here Zoom thing and just sing from wherever we are and sing together if we want to, just to do something. You know what I mean? But keeping the fellowship. Today is about me supporting my niece's request because she's doing something awesome with another brother in Christ. God is showing his people how to keep being relevant today. I want to be in the relevant side of the room. Y'all sit right over there. Y'all sit over there. Okay, I'll be designating where to go.
Well, I think that's why, so for real, that you brought up a beautiful point, excuse me, that's, I believe is really important. The ability or the ups and downs of keeping a family relationship versus a business future or dream or something independent that you want to do, or not even just you specifically, but anybody else who may be listening, that whole connection of family and where family is. Because I know with my family, sis, my brother, with this show here, it's produced by my brother Chris, as you know, my sister Julie, and Wendy. And to me, because family, and that is my family, even extended or blood family. So the whole idea of family to me is a blessing especially if it's a positive connection in there. My brother and I will go back and forth and bump the heads and, and have our disagreements or what have you, But what you brought up, how have you been able to keep that, or what is your journey with that, trying to keep that connection together between business life, your personal dreams, and family?
Yeah, well, I do believe this, that a long time before I ever vocalized it to my sisters, it was on an airplane somewhere between here and there. I was in my 30s, I believe, or late 25s or something like that, reading an article in the first class section of a magazine on a plane. And I saw where women, after their kids go off to college, they reinvent themselves. They decide to do something else. And I began to meditate on that. I don't even know where I was in the world. I just know I remember that day as vividly as if it was yesterday. That was a turning point in my understanding of I can choose to move forward in a different direction if I want to. So I just said this. I didn't know about what I wanted to do. I just said, God, I want to do that when I get to be a certain point. When I get, and I told him the age. I'm not going to talk about age. I said, when I get to be that age, and when I tell you, when that all comes out in the reality of my story, God remembered that, okay? That age was 50. I was whatever age I was then. I said, Lord, when I don't want to be doing this no more. I don't know what I want to be doing yet, but I don't want to be doing just going back and forth, up and down and all around. I'm done shook enough tail feathers, okay? When I go to that old Mississippi talk.
Oh, come on, right? Well, I'm from Memphis, Tennessee, as you know, so we talking the same. Go ahead.
Just get real with him. Just, somebody else can't understand it. When I was working at the music center, many times I would run into those. They would be like, what did you just say? I would have to restructure and talk American to them.
But you know what you said, though, Jeanette, that experience you had of sitting first class, reading that magazine, coming out of that, what I'm going to say as you broke it down, that other life, right? And it hit you personally to say, you know what? Wait a minute. I don't want to keep doing this like this. Was it a feeling of I have another purpose? Was it a feeling of I'm just tired of this? Or what's your words on that?
Oh, no, I wasn't tired of it. I loved traveling. I loved singing with my sisters. I still do. I had more dreams about, okay, well, once we get past this, and once we get past the rap area, I thought we were going to get past the rap area and get back. Right? Well, I got a new thing to go to look. Just heard LL Cool J yesterday rapping something so cold about what's going on right now.
That was out of sight.
I mean, I'm telling you, I wish I could have a copy of that. I mean,
right.
Just like we doing right now. I love the various mediums. I always loved different kind of music. Our father taught us that. He didn't teach us that you're just gospel, you're just this, and you're just, no. And the record business was about that. But now the record business is backed up because they recognize too. They can't just put artists into boxes. Now, I don't want to talk about this racism thing, but there's a whole lot of that racism thing that has to do with why there was boxes for us and boxes for them. But the people, the young people, the 21st century singers and writers and continual artists are making it plain. Okay?
Exactly. Of all cultures. That's right. And they're bringing it together. That's right.
That me and my grandson's 6-year-old dance too is the dance with me, da da da. Marie. That little girl, I don't know if it's a girl or a guy, but my little grandson and us, we just be loving our song. Talking about, come on.
Yeah.
Music is a universal language. I remember us saying that when we were on stage back in the day. I hear other artists saying it. It's a fact, no matter what. Let me tell you, one of the most perfect lessons that I learned was when Diana, the princess from England, when she got killed in that tragic car thing. I was watching, I didn't know her personally, but I got up in the middle of the night to watch her funeral, and I was crying in front of my TV by myself, saying, Lord, I want to be remembered. This is how I want to be. Not like her, but I started thinking about that. I never thought about how I want to be remembered when I die. Mm-hmm. But I just need to think about another time that just the world, we are so now connected, the world is. I used to didn't have much attitude about the global, this, that, and but I'm just as much a person in this world now. I'm ready to have my own globe. If y'all want to be acting all crazy, I know the Lord got me a globe somewhere else, okay? And if y'all want to come, you'll have to ask my permission.
Come on now, right? Right on, sister, right on. But you know what, Jeanette? You said something that made me, and I know some of the people watching are going to, it hit them too. One of you and your sister's lyrics has stood the test of time in a certain way. It said, think it over, right? And then you said, we hold the key, right? Come on now.
We hold the key to the world's destiny. And then it has to do with thinking it over, because, you know, it's about what do our hearts agree to? What is it that we really understand about where we are right now and what we can touch people? Can we lift somebody with what you're talking about? If what you're talking about can't help somebody, then maybe it's your time to be quiet.
Could you please say that one more time? If it's what you're saying,
the world's destiny. How does the rest of it go? I don't remember.
Well, you know what I was saying? I was saying what you said was, if what you're saying is not helping somebody, then maybe you need to be quiet, right?
I mean, some of that stuff, you know.
Oh, I'm sorry, the feedback.
Anyway, to God be the glory. No harm. Anyway.
Oh my God, our technology is good.
I love it. I do.
But it can also be frustrating, because right now you are giving jewels of wisdom and your experience. But when I say something, I don't want it to be missed. But because the power that you're throwing at us, I don't want my people to miss it. My positivity posse is, you know. So if you had to.
I'll tell you, I was trying to think, what kinds of things, what do I want to focus on?
Well, you are definitely hitting it.
Granny Nanny, I'm gonna go right there, because that's like really. I mean, in fact, I'm meditating on my new website that I'm gonna put up. I'm gonna be having a blog just to talk to other grannies, professional women who are accomplished, who, it don't have to be your own child, but there are so many children that need mentoring, and just hearing these conversations between people who are focused on staying positive, like you're talking about, and people who are focused on being the answer, illuminating the answers, not highlighting, like that's what they do. They just stay on the fire's here, the fire's there, and somebody's business is gone. All these things that they are focused on. I want to talk about the people. That little old man, a 70-something old man, he was a white guy, and he got knocked down by the police himself. People ain't talking about that. I'm sad about that.
Right. I got you. And that's why the message of what we just talked about, Jeanette, it stood the test of time. With that one little music lyric phrase that we just mentioned of what you all, I mean, sis, that right there, it's, to me, it's a generational witness.
Yeah.
That phrase witnesses to people that we are the ones, even especially in times like these, that hold the key to the destiny. Our young people right now are, and I mean, I can see my people lining up. They're doing one of these on the camera, because it's speaking volumes of blessings to this day. And to me, that's like you said, the power of music, the power of testimony. You know, when you hear that, sis, what does that give to you? That you mentioned that you want to know when you watched Lady Diana's service, and you were looking at, well, what mark would I like to leave? Well, I think this is very proof positive right here, that in that that is just one of the drops in the beautiful basket of what you are delivering to the world. How does that make you feel, just from that feeling alone?
Well, I tell you what, you know, I heard Taji P.
Henson. Mm-hmm.
She said, and she's been so open and honest about her depression. I wasn't open. I look at a lot of these people that come out and talk about, I wasn't open at all the hurts and all of the violations, all of the unwanted attention. I wasn't hurt because I was so passionate about talking about it, even to my dad. I was upset with him for so long because he didn't really protect us from those wolves. He knew they were out there. He was one, I learned. Oh, I did not say that in the same room with my sister.
This is your story, sister.
Yes, my dad was a wolf, and I didn't realize it. We saw him as daddy, but I grew out of that real fast. And then I was upset with him that he didn't protect us from the wolves, that he didn't tell us that they're out there. They look like it, how they come, and when they come, this is what you do. Well, that's what I do. That's why I became a 20-something in my 25s. My favorite thing to do is go to the gun range. I'm a crack shooter. I can shoot real good.
Right on now.
I got rifles now. I'm looking for me land so I can have my own backyard shooting.
There you go.
I'm not trying to be out here in the streets shooting at people, but I still want to be good at what I do. And if
Right on.
don't let me be my grandchild, because I'm gonna be having granny nannies. Get your guns. Let's get up and get at it. Okay, but I know that is not popular and that is not feminine and all that.
But it's real.
Pam Grier when it comes to that. Remember she used to talk about riding horses? I used to love to do that right up in Griffith Park. Whole lot of things I grew up to do that my sisters didn't do. And that was, I let them grow their way. They had a hard time letting me grow away from where they were. They sort of where they are. I'm sort of not there, and I don't hate them for that. I just decided I'm going to do life a little differently a long time ago. So you do have to have goals. But I set myself on thinking like, God, is this what you want me to do? If I move, if I accept this, am I going in the direction? And every time I try to do anything, even when I sang my CD in 2017 at my church at Crenshaw Christian Center, I'm a member at Crenshaw. And when I sang that CD, I sang Best of My Love too, because I have some tracks I can do a whole shebang if I want to with an orchestra. That's not what I've been up and down those roads. I
got you.
But I just want to be purposeful with what I have left in my.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
I got you, sis. You know what? First of all, I just can't thank you enough for your heart conversation, and what we've talked about is a lot of your personal. You beautifully shared so much of your heart with us through I'm going to say your testimony right now of what you're giving. And I know that a lot, and it's been a blessing to me. And as I see the lineup, it's been a blessing to so many others. And that's important to you. Your spiritual journey is important to Jeanette Hawes. And what I'd like to do is, for your dedicated fans, I would like to talk a little about your journey as the eldest emotion. Okay? Meaning this, sister, I know, and I'm getting text, I'm getting things, and that's one thing about it. When you give an impression, when I mean you and your artistry of the music that you all have established in this life of ours that we hold so dear. I don't know, you can't help but have people who just are like, hey, you know what? The emotions, they changed my life, or this song did this for me, or this was my wedding song, or when I hear Blessed, it takes me to a prayerful mood, or Don't Ask My Neighbor took me to a place that I understood in my life, When did you know you were when you know what, I'm a performer, I'm a singer, I'm a songwriter. Stax Records. When you all started at Stax Records, under the tutelage of Isaac Hayes and David Porter, please give me that experience, sister. Growing up as young, how old were you all then?
I was the eldest, and although I didn't ever admit that.
Okay, all right.
I saw things differently. I think back then I began to grow out of being a shy kind of person. And so I listened a lot more than I tried to. I'm not a people pleaser. I think what I think and I feel like I feel, and I'm not trying to much care what you think. I had to grow out of that somewhat as I began to grow in the knowledge of scripture, because we do want to regard what somebody else's feelings are. So that's sort of how I was. I don't remember the Stax era that much. I think
okay.
I have sort of deleted some files. That's how I relate to it.
Okay.
You got to delete some files so you can keep learning and keep going forward. And I had to delete some of that because it was not a positive time in my life. If there was a dark area of my life, I think it was there. I think that's where I really began to learn that I got to learn how to shoot a gun. Because I'm niggas up off of me when I don't want to be talking like you talking to me. Okay. And I, don't let my Chicago come out now. It might scare you because I have another flavor to my tone. And then my son was telling me just a couple of weeks ago, Mama, you got all that imagination about what you think you can do, because that's that Chicago route, okay?
I got you.
You know, Chicago women are strong. And I heard some sisters that I know talking about how hard this thing is for them, young mothers with no man beside them. You know, I was never thinking I needed a man beside me, but God, it's the family is the institution that God created. I understand that now with perfect clarity. So I've been married twice. My first husband passed in 2017, and my Hawes, that's where Hawes comes from. And when I married again, and he's still here living, but we were together like 14 years or whatever, and then that was over. And that's when my third son came. My third son is with the Lord already. And so, but I have learned a lot about it. I'm a strong woman, and I never imagined that my life is going to be where I'm not somebody's wife all the way till the end. Right now, I'm just, I'm strong and I'm powerful.
I got you. Yeah, I got
that. I bring a whole lot to the table if I did, but I look for that. And if you don't find me, oh well, I see.
Hey, well, life go. Yeah, I got you. And you know what you said. I'm seeing a lot here where people are like, the emotion songs always make me smile. Also, there's some others here where Blessed saved my life. Sis, to me, all right, as one of these people who admired, loved, and listened still to this day of what you and your sisters brought artistically, you know what, when you hear somebody say a song or a message that you did saved your life, even through the turmoil that may have been during a song that was written, right? Or during a song that it was performed, like you just mentioned, that must do something of a praise moment for you, right? That even though my life at that time was not something I really was digging, but to hear somebody say, you know what, when I listened to what you did, that saved my life. What does that do for you?
Well, to God be the glory. I'm not, but I do believe that when we speak our truth, and our truth is true to the scripture, it's God who gave us the way to have the ability to touch through music, to touch through speaking truth.
Mm-hmm.
That old song, glory, glory, hallelujah, his truth is marching on.
Yeah.
It's marching on, even today, okay? With all in the world, with all the poverty in the world, which was not God's will for us. I mean, I do believe that anyway. I don't know who believes what, but I do not believe that God intended for those who he gives the reins to.
Yeah, I got you.
The ability to make it right for somebody, to make it good for someone else. He expects us. That's part of the blessing of recognizing who he is. So I don't know. You talked about earlier that you're not the judge. Well, I think there's a way to call a thing accurately. Rightly divide is the way to rightly divide the word of truth, so that you speak the truth accurately, not just, if this is going to make me look like I'm a preacher, I better not say it that way. No, well then don't. Sit down.
Yeah. Well, you know what, sister? I just have to say, on behalf of myself and behalf of the millions of people that you have witnessed through over your career, I'm gonna keep it real. And you hit a thing, and first time I'm gonna mention it here on air. When I had my bout of years of depression, I fully know what you're talking about. And with that moment in my life, sis, especially as being an artist, during that time, as us as artists, we feel a lot deeper than a lot. I'm not negating other people who aren't, but there's something about that artist's soul that when we get stung, it stings us more than once. And if we're going through that moment of depression or negative part of our emotional experience, there's something that we feel on top of the regular feeling of depression that you don't feel like I'm ever going to get out of this. Well, some of the people in my life, sis, and I keep going back to Brother Cliff, if it was not for the witness of Cliff's moment in my life at that time, my father, my brother, and my sister, I would have not, those ingredients would have been even more difficult. Without those ingredients, my coming back to normality out of depression would not have been relevant or would not have happened. I do believe that. But also the gift of music.
Mm-hmm.
As we know, music in its inception is a direct blessing from God. I will never negate that. I will never disrespect that. I believe when God puts in someone's soul at birth, the message of music, the message of being able through your voice, through your spirit to tell a story, to tell someone that it's gonna be all right. And I don't know what, I believe that it's God putting this in my head, that line that you all put, and I'm not just putting it here because you know me, forget the lights, camera, action. I'm about what's in my soul right now. And my soul keeps just putting out there, we hold the key. And to me, that is, as the outside looking in, sister,
I want to illuminate.
It can't be a difference between what it is that draws the life out of me versus someone of your artistry that God blessed you with the voice. God blessed you with that sound. And no matter what we personally are going through, no matter, you know, what it is that you shared with us, you were going through, that message and so many other messages to this day are healing. And that's a blessing, sister.
I agree with you. I totally agree. And if I could just illuminate a bit on one song that I wrote called Love Vibes. But in that song, I was speaking about how when we agree about something, that's love vibe. Is
there you go. There you go.
Love vibe had to do with some of the things that we might share in this music through a vibe of love. It's the principles that we might teach our kids so that they will know. That song is talking about that very thing. It's very timely for today.
Come on.
It's not that I'm trying to pump my song, but I am saying.
Oh, no, pump that truth. That's positivity.
Of our hearts. It never. One thing I just really wanted to hit on, because I wanted to give God the glory for this. Back, it's been some years now. Whenever it was the 250th birthday, PBS is one of my favorite stations. I give donations to them monthly because I really support that they cover a lot of culture in the way they do their programming. So there was a thing on that particular night that it was the 250th birthday of Beethoven. I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but you know who I'm talking about. And that documentary, they said, any music that has lived, that has been accepted by the world for more than 35 years and still going on is a standard. I jumped up in the middle of the floor. I'm there by myself in my room hearing that. I said, wow, our music is a standard. Some music that is now called an American standard. It's a standard of music worldwide. It's a standard. No matter what the songs was talking about. You know, I used to think only standards was like, I think that I shall never see a poem as lovely as a tree. That might be a standard. Vibes,
yeah, there you go.
Candle is a standard. The candle of the heart. God lit the candle of the heart of mankind, and nothing that the world can do can blow it out. I wrote that song. In fact, they never paid me for that song. What they got to do it that they paid me for Candle. Y'all mark my words. But Candle was a song that me and my second husband wrote. Jerry Williams. He's a talented musician. He's a Christian. He's, still prays for his church. It's a wonderful thing what God has done. The reasons that things go the way they do, we still must give God the glory. I'm not God. If I was God, we would be messed up.
I got you. A whole lot of us would. But that's why right now, sister, and just the conversation, the history that you're giving us, the heart that you're giving us, there is, even through the struggles, just like in Clifton's and Larry Dodson from the Barcades, they all gave their ups and their downs, their hurts, their fears, you know, but in the end, they brought in their sense of positivity. And what I'm hearing from you, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that your life is the same as so many people in the world, meaning that we all have ups and downs. We all have struggles that we go through, but we all, most of us, and your pull through you've never lost the love for your family. You've never lost the strength for your family, and you've never lost your dedication as a writer, as a performer, the blessings of it as an artist that God has given you. And that, to me, and my positivity posse, sis, is positive. That's the string of positivity, that no matter what we're going through, we're going to be all right. And you're evident of that.
One day it's going to be each of our time in glory to stand up as, have you met my daughter, Jeanette?
Yes.
The Lord God Almighty is going to present me to the stuff that was, you know. So I just want to be on point. Get it? I love it.
That's right, you know.
Okay, Jesus, I got this.
Come on. And you know what? So many people, and I see once again the line, smiles are being given, hand claps are being given, you know, the positivity is being given to us through you, which I'm going to say is a blessing. Even in what has been a heaviness in your life, you still showed us and gave us your personal, because if I remember, that's what testimony is all about. It's about sharing that, hey, I went through this and all of that, but now I'm good. So now, with what you have garnered to this point, what's next for Jeanette Hawes? Tell us. I know you have the album that you released, the book that you're an author, but what's here for Jeanette? Please.
No Regrets is out now on Amazon. I'm working on my new website, which I'm going to call 247worshiper.com. And One Emotion at 247worship.com, how you can reach me once it gets up and going. But the point is, I want to have more invitations to share my testimony. It's by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony that we overcome whatever. I call myself an overcomer. I'm an overcomer because of what the finished work of Calvary is, not because I'm so something. But I do remember when I was teaching those kids at the music center, when I was getting the privilege to speak into young artists, always cherish your gifts. God gave us gifts. Always cherish them. Like they cannot be just set on a shelf and never used again. Cherish your gift. If it's singing, if it's writing, if it's dancing, if it's imagining what could be, and like, whoa, this would be a way to do that. That could be better. All of that. See, I think that we need to encourage humanity right now.
Come on.
Yes, I know my daughter is a chemist, and she's got a master's in chemistry. She's a young wife and mother now, but I mean, even that, I mean, it seems like at one point that you're just like, oh, I'm over here doing this when I got all this brain power. You know, God will bring it back around. Just cherish your gifts. You know, that's what I want to leave anybody who's hearing something from me. I hope that this just encourage them to know that, because
yes,
even my Sheila, my darling, she's sort of in a different place than the rest of us. My Pamela, each of us, Wanda. I mean, calling up one another, encouraging, how you doing today? I miss your voice. Just like the fellowship. What we're doing now is called fellowship.
Come on.
The fellowship. And in that time is when we encourage one another. If you got anything in yourself to be an encouragement with, it's from the Holy God, the one and only true and only one God. You know, some people call him Allah, some people call him other things, but God knows what your heart says. He's the one that's got the reins of your heart. So I don't try to judge people. I'm like you said too, all these other issues, we all got something that we ever. Right. Lord, I thank you to let people see that about me. You know, don't let nobody know this. You know,
right on. Well, you know what I have to give you, Jeanette, and like I shared with you, those down points in my life that I thought, hey, I ain't never coming out of this thing. But it's just the fact that you took the time and your brightness right now, your delivery right now that you're sharing with us and now media to the world. Oh, come on, much respect. I remember when I never thought that I'd be able to do what you're doing right now. And what you're doing right now is a blessing to so many. And I wish that we had more than an hour on this right here, because your blessing is continual, especially with what it is that you're working on right now. And I know you have more books in you, you have more albums in you, you have more testimony in you.
I am recording right now, and I'm recording the first book I wrote, Special Blessings. I'm recording in my voice. It's the story about my third son who's with the Lord already. You know, Joshua was 12 when he was accidentally killed in 1998. And I wrote a book about that. I got all these copies of the book printed in my closet in a box, but I don't want to tell them like that. I always thought I would just give them to other parents, because our children with special needs are special blessings. That teaches those parents specially how to deal with those special blessings. All children are blessings.
Well, Sister Jeanette, you've been a blessing to us today. And career-wise, as we saw these people just saying here, you continuing your artistry has been a blessing. Your artistry with yourself, your sisters. We thank you personally so much for your journey as an artist, for what you've given to the world. Thank you. And that's from the heart. And thank you so much to you and your sisters collectively for keeping so many of our lives together through the lyrics. You know? And please give us, before we go, I have to talk to, we're going to start a series called The Village, Victor Brooks Show, The Village, where we're going to put our money where our mouth is to talk to our young people, especially our young artists. In this moment in time, we want them to keep their artistry of protest around what they have to say. We want to be that generation that says, come on, talk to us, and encourage them to give. What can you give the young artist today before we close?
I just want you to know how valuable and precious you are to the world, not just to this particular era, but trust that you are valuable because you have the heart to pursue the gifts that God gave you. Hold on to that. Use them. Become the best at what you can do. If it's a sing, if it's dance, if it's an instrument, if it's writing, do it with all your heart. And just, you know, don't let anything stop you from it. Tell the truth.
Yes. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it direct. As we used to say, live and direct. You heard it from Sister Jeanette Hawes. My respect is endless. My love for you is endless. And I thank you for what you've given to us and to the world, and specifically to us today. Thank you so much, Sister Jeanette. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, well, you heard it. You know, you felt it. And I see that many of you have felt it also from the listing here that I see on our Facebook Live listing. The message of positivity, that even through the ups and the downs, not just socially, not just what's happening politically, but where it starts, where that seed starts. It starts with what's happening here. And the ups and downs that we have personally in our lives, in our life journeys, it makes a difference, because it comes out in what we have to say. It comes out in what we want to project, you know? And the feelings that were projected today by Sister Jeanette, I give her so much respect for her honesty. And I also want to thank once again the endless artistry of change and beauty that her and her sisters, the Emotions, have given to the world, that have lasted to this day. And I have no doubt that it will last in generations after I'm gone. Why? Because my children grew up on it. And because they're in their late 20s, early 30s now, they're passing it on to their kids. That message, you see this poster behind me? I'm going to reference that again, because the Emotions delivery of through their music, through this particular event in 1972 at Watt Stacks, right at the end of the Watts riots, when they did their message of what it was that we wanted to deliver to help the healing of the Watts community, when they came out with Peace Be Still, the emotions held that banner strong once again, as only they could do it. That message, and as you see, it's here, and hey, you know me, I ain't afraid to cry. Shoot, I was raised to know that it takes a strong man to go ahead and admit that his emotional feeling is a cleansing of it all. You know, but I have to continue with my point that when this Watts Stax performance of Peace Be Still from the Emotions came out then in 1972, it was a medicine. When the Emotions came out even before this blessing of Watts Stax and continued through their journey of musical history, it has healed so much, and it's evident to this day when I see the lineup of people that are throwing hand claps. You dig? The people that are throwing fist pumps in the air. The people that are actually writing in that this song healed me, this song saved me. That's evident of a blessing. Thank you all so much, sisters. I love you. Much respect for the rest of my life, and I'm not the only one. And like I always say, Wendy, you know what I say? Come get some of this positivity on you. Take a shower in it. Take a bath in it. You dig what I'm saying? You know, jump in this pool and jump in the ocean of positivity and scuba dive in it. And when you come up out of it, sprinkle that water of positivity on somebody else, y'all, because that's what it's all about. And that's what we're all about here at the Victor Brooks Show, Facebook Live Quarantine Series. I love you. Stay positive, y'all. We're going to be all right. Peace and blessings.